Hello, Ryan here, and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all of the news from the week just past. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get on with it. This week, we get to see weapon zeroing in action, plus the first look at refining gameplay. So this week's Inside Star Citizen kicked off looking at the upcoming refining process. This new game mechanic, they said, will tie the mining system to all the other systems that they want to focus on in the future, like cargo hauling and crafting, for example. So anything that allows the players to create things in the verse. And I guess it does all start with mining, getting those raw materials. Now he mentions how refined materials will be more valuable than the unrefined ores, so you will need to be choosy of what you mine. Now I'm wondering if this will make mining other materials like gold, diamond or titanium worthy of mining in 3.12, as currently it's not really worth mining anything other than laranite, taranite, agricium and so on. So hopefully you can make some better cash with these other minerals while we wait for the dynamic economy slated for next year. Anyway, once you've mined some goods, you make your way to the refinery, and using a kiosk you start by creating a job. This will allow you to toggle refine or discard for each material in your cargo hold, and as you do this it will show you the cost and duration associated with each material, but also you can choose what process type you want to use, which will strongly alter the cost and duration for that process and the material at that station at that time. Now I'm assuming that certain materials require or prefer certain processing types. We can see we've got Cormac, Gaskin, electrostarolysis, Dink solvanation. These are the options that we can see at this time at this station here, but do bear in mind that all the values and times are not final and are currently going through several balance passes. So another facet that they said to take into consideration is that each refinery functions under a capacity system. This means that there is a limit to the number of jobs they can run at any one time. This will mean that the higher the load of the refinery is running at, the more it may cost you to create jobs there, so you'll have to determine whether it's worth taking your ore to another refinery. Each refinery will have certain proficiencies as well, meaning that one refinery could be extremely good at processing, say, quantanium. For example, they could offer a higher yield, and this will mean that the players will need to shop around to find the best option. But also, if the player knows of a particular refinery that is proficient to a certain material, then you might want to mine that particular material if you are within proximity of that station. Now, jobs can last anywhere from a few minutes to several hours, depending on the size, processing type, and work capacity at that refinery. And you can create a job and just leave it running, and if you are out and about in the verse, you'll get a notification that that job is done, and you can go and pick it up. You can cancel a job early if you wish. This will allow you to collect any refined materials, but it will discard any of the unrefined materials. Now, it was interesting to see that you could actually select any ship by the looks of things to collect the refined ore, even if that ship isn't like a cargo specific ship like the Hornet, although I do know you can get a sort of centralized circular store ore box for the Hornet, so whether they're using that I don't know. But this does show that it's going to be an all-automated system for now. Obviously, we need iCache before they can really start physicalizing everything, but I'm very interested to see how this will all flow in-game. Ultimately, they said they want to provide players with choice, and it's important to allow players to make bad decisions, but equally important to ensure that we have all the information we need to make the good decisions. And again, this will lead into that skill-based system. If you understand the process and you know what each process and type means, then you will make more money and you won't make mistakes. It's all about learning and getting more skilled at this rather than just a skill tree saying you are now level 10 at refining. Now personally, I really like how this is going. I feel it will complement the mining profession really well, especially if you've spent time mining and then you arrive at a refinery. Instead of the current system where you just sell the ore, the money comes in and it's over with, it'll require you to spend some time working out the best refining approach. Well, firstly picking the right refinery, then working out the best refining approach based on all the variables at that station, then hitting go and either waiting or grabbing some supplies or doing something else while you wait for the process to finish. This will be a great addition to mining, and hopefully CIG has worked in some new multi-crew method or multiplayer methods with the refineries so we can all work together to complete a whole chain of mining, refining and hauling. Very excited to see this. 3.12 is looking pretty exciting. So also coming in Alpha 3.12 is weapon zeroing tier 1. Basically, scopes in-game will give you a range calculation and allow you to compensate based on the bullet drop and distance of your target. Say for example you're on a hill and you're sighting a target 500 to 1000 meters away, you will need to counter that drop, and weapon zeroing is where that will help. One of the biggest challenges, they said, with Star Citizen is the vast variety of environments that players will find themselves in. Each planet or moon will have different gravity, they'll have different environments, different weather, and so on, and knowing how to counter these effects in each location will be very difficult, not to mention all the varieties of weapons there are as well, like traditional ballistics, energy, distortion, and all that kind of jazz. So for 3.12, weapon zeroing will be included on the 4 times and upwards scopes. There will be 3 different types of scopes with zeroing. The most basic is just the zeroing scope. That will allow you to adjust the zeroing yourself, making sure that you're the one working out the range. The next tier is basic again, but with assistance. This will hopefully cost a bit more, I expect, as a way to counter this, and it's more suited to those going into environments that you're less familiar with. This will have a range finder and the ability to auto set your scope's range using this range finder. Now the auto ranging is a very user-friendly system and can take the guesswork out of it, but you could quite easily accidentally set the range wrong if you are not accurately aiming on the target when you set that range. So basically, wherever you're looking, it will show you the range, and then I guess you'll be able to hit a button and it will auto zero that scope to that range. So it's a pretty cool feature that will definitely come in handy in the verse, especially as the verse has such vast amounts of land. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on these scopes and giving them a test, and I'm glad that we have a large choice of options as the game develops further. But that is inside Star Citizen. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Let's move on. So also this week we learnt about the truth behind the hero of the Battle of Fabela. Squadron 42's monthly report was released to the Spectrum, but I have already covered this in a dedicated video linked in the description below. November's subscriber flare was released, which are these awesome toy Nerf guns. I personally think it's likely that it's CIG's way of testing how internal armistice zones can tell the difference between lethal and non-lethal weaponry. Hopefully we will hear more about this. And finally, Star Citizen Live this week was a game dev stream taking us through the process of creating an in-game prop. This was actually inspired by the Pico head football from Count Disco's Halloween episode, and hopefully we will get that in-game someday soon. So that brings us to the end of the show. If you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Also, I am able to do this thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. If you appreciate what I do and would like to help make it even better from as little as $1 a month, all of the links are provided below.